Go on, Beyonce.
Hi guys, you're listening to the £3.30 podcast. I'm your host Asha.
Your laugh is disgusting.
Says your face.
It's a problem.
And it's Sana.
I guess I'm gonna have to do the Sana thing for the rest of my life.
How are you man doing?
Ramadan Mubarak, guys.
Ramadan Mubarak to you and your families, my friends.
Amen.
So in case you guys don't know, we're all in different countries currently recording this podcast. I'm still here
We're international.
up in London. Reem, Sana is still in Doha.
I'm in
Where are you?
Baghdad. I'm in the Iraq. I'm in the
Baghdad.
good old Iraq. And it's
Hey.
lit outside.
She's in Iraq.
It's a litty Ramadan. Everyone's
Baghdad.
out here. But you know, yeah, man, blast the music. I just don't get it. Bro,
What's it
it's
like?
lit.
For real.
It's amazing.
I'm so done.
Have you been outside
I have,
today?
yeah, I
Reem?
went to the shop to look for some falafel, but they don't sell them during Ramadan because they don't sell. Like, people want like proper food. They don't want a little falafel sandwich. So we went out. We came back from my cousin's and came to Bibi's house, my grandma. And yeah, went out for a little walk on the road. It
Okay.
was proper quiet. And then obviously now it's getting live because everyone's out here. So at the moment it's 11:30 p.m. Same time as
Everyone's
Sana.
lit now.
And Shams is what? It's 9:30?
Yeah, it's 9:30.
Yeah, it's 2
Yeah,
hours.
so litty times. Yes, amazing.
Is this your first Ramadan in Iraq?
I love that Sana was trying to say, yeah, it's 9:30 in London, as if I'm not here to confirm.
Sorry, Sana, what were you saying about is my first Ramadan what?
I didn't say it's 9:30 in London. I said, yeah, it's 2 hours earlier. You idiot. Anyway, Reem, is it your first time in Iraq?
Yes, it
For
is. It's
Ramadan.
the first time I've been to Iraq when it's not December or January. Usually I go end of December, early January. So number one, it's hot, fam. Like I believed it when everyone said it was hot, but like it's May and it's like 35 degrees outside and it's still like there's no wind.
It's different when you feel it on your skin, innit?
And it is the first Ramadan. It's amazing.
Damn.
I don't want to leave already.
Oh, mashallah. What's the feeling like? Obviously,
y'all.
like being in a Muslim country, it's always going to be different, isn't it? But what's the feeling like?
Honestly,
in
it's just like...
Why not asking about Doha though?
You're silly. Honestly, it's just amazing. I think for a few
Yeah, go on.
different
No,
factors
tell us
make
about
it
Iraq.
amazing. Like, first of all, I haven't been here for 5 years. And second of all, I don't know, it's just like I'm with my family and it just feels different. And also I haven't seen my mum in 5 weeks, which is a long time for people who know me. In terms of like the whole like Ramadan, obviously when you go to a Muslim country, generally there's things like the adhan which you're so not used to hearing, but like now it's like you're hearing the whole thing. Like I'm sure Tarawih prayers are getting said out loud. Like I've been hearing someone on the speakerphone for time. So it's man, it's something special. I'm not gonna lie, it's a blessing.
Yeah, tell us about the airport.
I'm very grateful. Obviously, in the airport, people are pissing me off, but that's just standard.
Obviously.
No one's bothered me because my flight is to Istanbul, so people couldn't care less where I'm really going because obviously we had like a little stop off. So I get to the bit where I'm about to board the plane, and then this older guy speaks to me. He's just, you know, that last bit where you're giving your boarding pass and your passport, and they're just looking to see. Just I don't know, they're looking for the culture. Like they can't. There's nothing they can do by now because you've passed every little hurdle, So the guy goes to me, oh, where are you off to today? And I said Istanbul. I'm not trying to tell him because I know what he's about to say. Yeah, he goes, is that your final destination? It's like he knew. And I was like, no. And he was like, where are you going then? And I was like, Baghdad. And he went, oh, like proper rattled, yeah. He was like, oh, yeah.
Where's this in London?
What's there? You know, what takes you there? And I was like, well, my family. And he was like, oh, is it your first time? And I thought, really, I wanted to say to him, why are you asking me? It's none of your business. But then I thought, Reem, allow coming with the aggression. Like, he's just probably being inquisitive because actually it's unusual for a lot of people. Like, it's not unusual for me because I'm Iraqi. Like, I can't get mad with people if it's unusual for them. So I just thought, do you know what, Reem, allow it. I just wanted to just hype.
Did he have a tone when asking, or was it just pure
It was
curiosity?
like, shock, which is usual, like very like, oh, you know. So we had this little conversation. So
Sorry,
then
continue from now.
afterwards, wow, I became fresh. Afterwards, we just kind of had this conversation, and he just kind of wished me well and said, you know, asked about the conditions and whatever. And I just thought, you know what, Reem, just be nice. Like, there's no reason to hype. Like, he's curious because he knows the news is not right, basically. So he's just trying to confirm if the news is saying the real thing. And I thought that's quite sweet. So anyway, I was on a hype because I was...
It's interesting though that you... Yeah, it's interesting though how you were so defensive initially, because like that's just how we're conditioned to feel. Like you've always got to have your guard up, and like you just feel like so protective over your country and how people perceive it, and then the questions that you receive. Like you always have to like double like sort of rethink what people are saying and what they mean. So it's interesting that you
all
kind of
the time, like all the time from after before no one knew where Iraq was before 9/11 really, unless you were like smart, you know what I mean? So it was like as soon as 9/11 happened, people were just like and went all cray. And like I remember once being in KFC minding my own business when I was in uni, and this guy came up to me and said, oh, I really like your earrings. For everyone who doesn't know, Reem likes hoops. So I don't know what he was talking about. They were nothing special, they were just hoops. And I was like, oh, thanks. And he goes, and your hair's lovely. He was like a middle-aged white man. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then he goes, where are you from? I said, what do you mean, country or area? And then he goes, country. And I said, I was like, Iraq. And he went, oh, so how does it feel? And I was like, what do you mean how does it feel? He goes, how does freedom feel? And I was like, nah. He goes, you must feel liberated.
Wow.
And I just got up out of KFC and I just walked away because I was so pissed. These are the times where it was like still a little bit fresh. This was like 2012. And I was like, you're pissing me off. I just walked away. So it's not an unusual thing. But yeah, it just feels like an attack. Like
How does freedom
even when I
feel?
was working,
Wow.
where, like in my old workplace, there was a lot of ex-army men and stuff, and they were lovely. But they'd kind of panic when I'd tell them that I was Iraqi, because everyone always asked where I'm from, and they'd be like, "Oh, we're not baby killers," and it was like instantly their defenses would go up because they'd think I'm thinking because they're from the British military that I hate them, like, you know. So it's just mad. But then when I came to Iraq, obviously it pissed me off as well.
It's so interesting though, because like obviously Reem, like you were born in this country, yet the aftermath of war that essentially you had nothing to do with is still affecting you. I think that's so interesting.
And I'm like patriotic to next levels. And I remember saying this to someone before, because I think someone said that I was too nationalist once, and I said to them, listen, like you can't tell somebody that's like saying straight after World War I or II to a British person that you're too nationalist. There was no such thing. Like war does that. It breeds nationalism because that's just how it works. Like when it's not easy. So obviously people from I don't know, like let's say Portugal, where it's kind of calm, are not going to be like Portugal till I die. Like some of them might be, but it's not a thing because they don't feel so under attack all the time. Whereas I'm like, I love you, Iraq. I want to live.
Yeah.
Like unnecessarily, and I know a lot of it is quite irrational, but it's like it comes from a defense place and stuff, so it is interesting. But yeah, man, I need to get that Iraqi passport so people stop annoying me at the Iraqi side as well. This is it. When I get here as well, I'm like not from here really, you know. It's like, where's home?
Yeah, that's a deep question, man. I don't think anyone knows where home is
For
people
real,
like
man.
us.
The Diaspora gang.
Yeah, it's a bit sad, wallah. It's sad because like when you go back home, you don't feel necessarily like you fit in. Like you feel like you are like even if you feel like, oh, like you're so proud to be home and like this is the motherland, this is where you come from, and when white people say to you, go back to your country, this is what they're talking about, so you're gassed. But even like locals within the motherland will look at you as like a foreigner, and they say, you know, you've lost your culture, you don't know who you are, like you don't really fit in, like you're made to feel as if you're not sort of one of them. And then like when like an outsider, and then when you're here, of course, like I don't have to explain why you don't feel like you're part of the country, but it's like you're kind of in this limbo where it's like, so where do I belong? But I guess it's one of those things where
still on the plane all day.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like, could you imagine what it must feel like to be like mixed, and then like not really belonging to any one thing, but I feel like not to like obviously bring it back to I feel like every podcast I got to talk about racism in one way or another, yeah, but it's like if so I was watching this YouTube video recently, and this girl, she's like mixed, she's half Belgian, I don't know what her other mix is, but she's black, yeah, just half black, half Belgian, and she's got proper natural hair, like her hair is literally the same as mine, yeah, she's got this she's like as light as Reem, yeah, and she makes like natural hair videos and tutorials, and she tests different things out, different sort of hair products on her natural hair to see if it will really work. Like she has a really interesting YouTube page, and the comments that she gets is kind of like, you're not dark, you're not black enough to have natural hair, essentially. Or people will say to her, you don't rep your Belgian side enough, you don't appreciate your Belgian side, and then on the flip side, it's like when she's in Belgium, I can imagine people won't view her as anything but black. Do you get it? So it's like it's one of those like catch-22s where you can't please anyone, and even if you don't know sort of where you belong, that it doesn't really matter. Just like home was wherever you feel the most comfortable, you know, and that can change
definitely.
over time, and it's okay if it changes. Like there's some times where I feel like, yeah, I'm definitely a Londoner, and then I'm like, yeah, proper rep Britain, blah blah blah, and all the rest of it, and then other times I'm like, no, I'm Bundy's man. Like I'm repping this. Like it's inevitable, it's gonna change over time, and I just feel like your identity shouldn't be fixated, and it shouldn't be a very permanent thing, because you change as a person and you grow as a person, so you should have that freedom to change your mind whenever you want to change your mind.
I'm really grateful as well, because my family are like proper, I don't know, they never make me feel like I'm an outsider or anything. Like they don't even really crack jokes like about it, you know. Usually you get cussed a little bit here and there, like usually they're not they don't really do that
A little bit.
And even like their expectations yeah
I guess they're doing that because I haven't seen you in so long. I feel like if they saw you so often, they'd be
Yeah,
like,
it's a
yeah,
bit too early days.
probably, but also
just
I
miss
act
you.
proper shy around them. I don't know if you lot are like that, but like, no, actually I danced a bit for my grandma today. But anyway,
you had your Kevin Little moment.
I did. I was offering her drinks and food, and I just thought, let me just add in a little shimmy. She laughed. That's all that matters. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit different.
Yes.
Like yeah, you're right actually. But it is what is interesting is their expectations. No matter how British they think you are, they hold the same expectations on you that they would on people back home. So, for instance, the expectation with me is, my grandma said it today. I told you guys earlier the thing about, she goes, no, Reem is the type of person that is only gonna be marrying a doctor. Like what? And the expectation that you're going to marry someone from back home. Like, do you know what London looks like? Like, no idea. Like, this isn't the same. Baghdad and London are not synonymous, mate. Proper serious expectation.
I feel like that's because they expect the same. They expect culture from you, but your identity is probably different. But like, it's because culture and identity are two very different things, and that's probably what they expect. They expect for you to still hold on to your values and who you are as an Iraqi and what your culture sort of expects from you. But your identity, I feel like they would be naive to think that you would still have this sort of like Iraqi nationalism that you could never feel like it's difficult for you to feel the same as they feel, because you never went through that. Alhamdulillah, you had a very easy life, and like you never, but it hurts you, but maybe on like a different level to how it hurts them. So with the expectations thing, I think that it's just culture. Like that's what every parent wants for them. But like, you know what they say, be the doctor that your parents want you to marry, innit?
She doesn't want to be a doctor though, so bye.
Reem was actually the doctor with this group chat. Let's be real. Like today she was giving you hella doctoral advice.
I think I'd be a smashing doctor. I think
That's
I'd be
Reem
a
every day,
wicked
my
doctor.
GP.
Even with my grandma,
100%.
my mum goes, "You got so much patience. How do you handle it?" Because not in a rude way. You know them ones where everyone, please pray for my grandma. She's a lovely woman, but she's angry. You know them ones where they're older and they're just vexed because no one's doing what they want as fast as they want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know,
Bless her,
she
man.
was just, yeah, there's a lot of things that she needs and a lot of attention and care and gentle, like moving, because she can't move and stuff. So we're having to move her from place to place or whatever. Well, not from place, like literally from sitting up to laying down. And, yeah, my mum was saying, yeah, you should be a doctor. And even my uncle goes, we were changing one of her wounds, and my uncle goes, yeah, by the way, if you marry a doctor, you can say to him, yeah, I can look after your mum, I can change wounds. I was in bits. I was like, no, you need to stop it.
Wow.
They're on it. They're on it. They're on it.
Bless. If only
If
she knew.
only
If
they all
she
knew.
knew.
This is what I think about all the time. But yeah, man.
So Reem, I want to ask you about Iraq in the aftermath of
Yes.
ISIS. What's it like now that? Well, when was the last time you went to Iraq, and how is it different to now?
Okay, can I give you a quick rundown of my whole trip, like all my trips to Iraq?
Yes.
Very quick. So the first time I went was
Yeah.
end of 2003. So the war started in March, and we went in March 2003, and we went December 2003. Reason being, we didn't have citizenship until I was
Right.
10. Until my parents had been, I know, gutted.
I still find that mad.
Can you believe it? Anyway, proper pricks.
Immigrant. Okay,
Imagine
go
I was
on.
born in zone 1, yeah, and they had the cheek to tell me, nah, zone 1,
Zone
bruv,
1
not
as
even
well.
a cheeky, I don't know, flipping, I don't know what hospital, Hillingdon
Wow.
Hospital.
Raw.
She came for you.
One unread message for Asha. Is that
Not
me?
even Hillingdon Hospital, straight St Mary's, bruv, on E Road, yeah, and they had the cheek.
No. Firstly, don't ever disrespect Hillingdon Hospital like that ever again, B.
Not after last week.
I
Exactly,
rate Hillingdon
come
Hospital,
on.
I really do. I went there once because I had backache, and the nurse cracked it for me, and that was that. I went A&E.
Oh.
It was a dude. He literally moved me forward, did some mad thing. I think Haneen was looking at me while it was all happening, eye contact, everything. Anyway, 2003. So we went there because obviously that was the first time my parents had been back after 12 years after they left, and that was like, it wasn't so bad. Like, you could see things had been a bit mashed up, but it wasn't horrific because it had only been a few years. But the main thing was that everything was tired from the sanctions that had been going on in the country since 91. I stayed there for a month. I saw people I'd never seen before, like all my cousins and aunties and uncles and grandmas. I hadn't seen them before and stuff. It was amazing. I cried for 3 days straight after that trip. I felt so bad for my parents because I couldn't stop crying. And I
Aww.
was non-stop listening to Nancy Ajram, and I don't know why. Did I ever tell you this, Sana? You know how I cuss you?
She was popping in 2003.
Of
You used
course
to
I
cuss
did,
me for her,
because
you know?
I must feel defensive. I had her cassette, I had her tape,
You always, man.
and I used to just listen to her non-stop and cry.
Oh, cassette. Is this girl?
Can you
is
stop
this girl
singing,
please?
Shams? You bad singer.
I still don't, I'm trying to figure out what song this is, but it's not coming to me.
It's a
Song,
Nancy
yeah?
Ajram song.
Nancy Ajram.
All right, go on,
Sorry,
Reem.
I thought a cockroach hit my foot. I've had my eye on Harry the cockroach for a while, but he's all right. He's in the corner.
You've been
Tell
beating
your
him all
story,
day.
man.
For real.
Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, okay, and then so it was bad, but it wasn't so bad. The Americans were still very much there. Then obviously the civil war was the thing that damaged the country the worst, and that's where like ISIS and like it was mainly Al-Qaeda then. Sorry, Al-Qaeda, and that mashed up the country.
Al-Qaeda.
The sectarian civil war mashed it up differently. So when I came in 2011 and when my mum came in 2009, she said she swore she'd never come back because it was like a whole different country. It was horrific. And obviously it was really hard, and our area was held hostage by Al-Qaeda during that time. So like, yeah, it just looked very, very different. Like in my grandma's house, I'll send you guys a video, there's bullet holes and stuff. It was just mad. And then ISIS didn't really reach Baghdad so much. This is the hard thing. I could only speak about the capital. In terms of like other places in Iraq, that ISIS never really came here. That was Al-Qaeda. but there would be one-off like
Yeah.
horrific suicide bombs, like the one that happened in Karada, I think in 2016, that killed 200.
Yeah, I think that was
Was
over
it
500.
500?
No, it was big.
Wow,
it was bigger
yeah,
than that.
Allah, yeah, it was huge.
500, yeah.
And it was, yeah, so go on.
The one that hit the shopping centre, right?
Yes.
The one that hit the shopping
or
centre?
a restaurant or something like that. It was all young people. I think it was during
Okay.
Ramadan or Eid or something. So they
It was-
always...
Yeah. It was.
yeah,
It was
horrible. So yeah, since ISIS has never really came to Baghdad. And I remember in 2014, my grandma kept saying to me, or 2011, she kept saying to me, I'm scared they're going to come here. They're going to come through the roof. Like the satah, we had flat roofs. And I was like, no, it's fine. And they never really reached it. But they were on the area we're in now is the east of Baghdad. No, the west. I don't know. Never eat shredded wheat. The west of Baghdad. And they were kind of on the west of the city and stuff. So yeah, it's built up. Alhamdulillah, they've changed it a lot. A lot has changed. It's pretty amazing. What people don't expect is it to look how it looks now. I think people would be shocked if they really knew what Iraq looked like. Well, Baghdad at least. The people have like a different spirit. It's amazing, mashallah.
Do you think it would be okay for tourists to visit, or non-Iraqis at least?
There's lots of them that come.
I'm trying to plan.
A lot of the time, there's a lot of them that make not necessarily. Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, it depends on who you're going to see, where you're from, and how you present yourself. Basically, like if you. I think they're used to seeing more different faces, but during a certain time of year. Right?
Yeah. I hear that.
But
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I would recommend that.
I'm not recommending
going
it
to
as
Iraq.
a tourist destination. I just think that they are
Right,
more.
okay.
It's more open now because of things like Muharram and the amount of Shias that come from around the world. It's one of the biggest. What's it called? Commemorations.
The biggest.
in the world, really. So they're getting all types of people all the time, but mainly flying directly to Karbala and Najaf as opposed to Baghdad, if that makes sense. And it's only really during them times.
I think it's incredible that a country like Iraq that's been through so much and was still struggling with ISIS and still is struggling with ISIS is able to like host.
I know, it's
that amount of
amazing.
people. It's incredible in such a short space of time. It's mad.
Yeah, but I put that down to Iraqi spirit, #nationalist. But the people have a different level of strength. It's
100%.
mad. Like I look at my uncle's wife and she's got 4 kids running around doing, bruv, she's non-stop, but the house is never messy. Like there'll be like bare herbs and spices on the sofa one second, the next minute she's hoovered it up and she's also cooked. And I'm like, how did you do this? And she's clean and she's done everything. And I'm like, you're literally superwoman. You know them ones where you're like,
And there's like bombs outside.
but yeah, man, alhamdulillah. So I'm really grateful to be here. I need to take more pictures, but it's been hard because we're mainly looking after BB. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll go out properly.
Inshallah.
We'd like to see some pictures on the £3.30 website. I mean,
yeah, I want to take some. My Samsung
Website, I'm
camera isn't
jumping
great,
down.
but it's actually all right. And I will, I'll try my best to take pictures, I promise. I'd love to share them all with you because the views are amazing. And I'm trying to get on the roof, but my grandma sleeps with keys under her pillow and attached to her pillow, like she has a little safety pin.
my grandma used to do that too.
And she hides all the money there as well. Oh, she's
They're paranoid. They hide everything under the pillow.
Even her
Everything.
tablets. For why? I said, please put them down. They're going to get in your way. She goes, no, otherwise I'll forget. Bruv, she don't forget a thing, mashallah. She's actually a detective. I saw she's got CCTV. She called me in. She goes, who's turned on the light outside? I said, what light? And she goes, I can see the light. She points at the thing. I said, Bibi, that's just the sun going down. The bush is covering it, and it's just the reflection. She goes, oh, bruv, she noticed it. She notices everything.
Yeah, of course, she's been there her whole life.
Bruh.
She knows every
No, you know
detail
them ones
of
where
the house.
when we found out that she wasn't well, everyone thought it was dementia. Bruv, dementia who? She owns dementia. What? I said to her today, I said, you did the wrong thing in your life. You should have been in the CIA, mate. My mum had her back turned to my mum, and she goes to my mum, what are you getting mad about? My mum goes, how do you even know? Because my mum rolled her eyes or something, bless her. She's been working so hard for weeks. Did one little eye roll. My grandma goes, what? How? And my mum literally was like, how? And then she took the piss out of my mum. She did.
Isn't it sick when you see your grandparents have like so much control over your parents?
Bro,
It's actually
she
mad.
actually gave her a little slap on the arm. I was like, raw.
Do you want anything? No, what? I'm a soxy. Safi, I'm a... Okay, Mama.
Assalamu alaikum, Mama.
She can't hear you. Mum, Reem says hello. Mum, Reem and Sana say hello. I said Reem and Sana. She says Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Do you know,
Ramadan Mubarak.
You guys have literally reached a new level, bruv. Like, she proper loves you guys. She every time I mention Sana, yeah, she'll go, oh, she gets proper excited, like her eyes light up, and then she went, is she goes, is she pregnant yet? Is she having a baby? And I was like, no, Mama, not yet. She goes, oh, she proper gets excited.
Listen,
and then,
when I'm pregnant, she'd be the first to know before you.
Bruh, I can imagine. And then she was asking me, she goes, how was Friday? How did it go? Show me pictures. I was showing her pictures. And then she came across a picture of Reem. She proper smiled and she went, oh, Reemy. I was like, wow.
That's so cute. Reemy.
I was like, even I don't call her Reemy. She goes, oh, Reemy. Biggest smile on her face. I was like, raw.
Adorable.
She proper loves you guys up, man. But yeah,
Reemy,
go
the speaker, the panelist.
Yeah, we need to talk about this, and we also need to check in about how you're feeling, Shambak.
Okay, no, I'm good, man. So you're gonna finish what you were saying.
I don't remember. I was just talking about how it's just amazing to be here and ting. But yeah, man, I'll try and take pictures. I promise. And I want to come back here every year anyway. So
inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. Although I got shook on. Inshallah,
next year I'm coming with you.
I'm sure you can. Only Sana though, because she's got an Iraqi friend.
Me and Shambak. I'd love to see Shambak in. I'd love to see Shambak in Iraq. You know.
Am I not allowed to come?
No, I just feel like it would be so funny to see you there.
Who, me? Me in Iraq?
I don't know if I...
Yeah.
No. They'll be like,
just because you're...
They'll be like, chocolate.
I don't even know if they'll be that nice.
I'm not ready for that.
I
don't think I'm prepped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. Because me and Reem were talking about this the other day. I don't think there's many black people in Iraq.
There are in the south.
You know,
there's black Iraqis.
You'd be skeptical. You'd be like a spectacle.
There's black Iraqis in the south of the country, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of
like
them.
dark skinned.
Like African, like of African descent, or just dark skinned Iraqis?
No, I think they're of African descent.
Oh.
Yeah, they're everywhere in the Arab world, but they're still obviously very much discriminated against.
Yeah, I just can't be asked. Did you guys see that video? I don't know where it is, but I saw it flying around on Twitter. This I think she's Ethiopian. She's an Ethiopian house girl. She must have like run away or something from her I'm about to say owner. Subhanallah, imagine that. But that's how they're being treated though. She must have run away from the home that she was working in, and the guy was in the car driving towards her, and he was like, oh, I'll drive behind her until because she was running and crying. Yeah, she took her shoes off in the heat.
Wow.
And he was like driving behind her, and he was recording the whole thing, like the prick that he is. And he was like, oh, I'll run behind her. He goes, I'll drive behind her until she gets tired. And then she goes, please, like that. And then he was like, please what? He goes, please what? Let me try and find the tweet. It was just mad. He said to her, please what? I brought you to this country or something like that. It was all in Arabic, but someone translated it in the tweet.
Disgusting.
Wow.
And it's just like...
You know where it was?
Let me try and send it to you guys in the group chat now. But I was just, the thing is, it's like, it's sad, but I just wasn't shocked. And it's like, it's mad how like, it's not that I was desensitized to it, but it's just like, it's now become a situation where we've been knowing that this is happening in the country, in Arab countries, but nothing has ever been done. Like, it's just like one of those people are just, all that happens is that people just outrage, people retweet it, and then the next week everyone's moved on to the next thing. Do you know what I mean? Like no one, there's nothing that's actually being done.
Well, I think it was the Philippines that banned their nationals from going to Kuwait, I think. But maybe I believe that was a temporary ban. After who was it? So there was some sort of, there's so many incidents that you just merge them all into one. But there was some sort of thing that happened in Kuwait with the Filipino maid, and the government of Philippines basically took a stance against it because it was like one too many. But I think that ban has been overturned, and the relations have been restored, because that caused a big diplomatic like spat between the two countries. And I think they had to come to some sort of agreement where, you know, the government of Kuwait had to like abide by some new laws or rules and stuff like that for them to reinstate the relations between the countries. That caused like a huge thing, because it was basically a maid who was, I believe she was trying to escape from the apartment that she was working in. And so she tried to come out of the window, and I think she slipped or something, and so she was grabbing onto the windowsill, and the woman that was her boss, instead of helping her up, was basically filming it on Snapchat and mocking her and ridiculing her, and then the maid fell while that happened, but she survived.
Like these things happen all the time, wallah, and it's like, it's scary how like, it's scary because it's, I don't know, so I remember a couple of years ago I was traveling from Tanzania, and I was going to Oman, and there was a girl basically at the airport, and she was traveling by herself, and she was like, "Oh, sorry sister, I've never traveled before, this is my first flight ever." Yeah, like she goes, I'd never even left Dar es Salaam ever in my life. Yeah, so then I said to her, I was like, it's okay. And then she goes, "Can you help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I looked at her papers, and I was like, "Oh, you're going to Oman?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Oman." I was like, "You just going for a holiday? You're going to go visit family?" Because there's lots of Tanzanians that live in Oman. And she was like, "Oh no, I'm going for work. This is my visa." She had a 2-year visa.
Contract,
which was mad to me. And then she was like, "Yeah," she goes, "I've got to stay for 2 years." And I was like, "And this is your first time traveling?" And she was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Are you excited?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm really excited." I know, because I just pray that the family that I stay with are really nice. She said, "It's good money. I have to provide for my family." And like, and it just, I literally, my heart just hurt because you know, Allahu Ya'lam, she could have a really good experience, and she could have like a really good family.
Exactly.
And like you never know, and like, because even my family aren't like pricks to the people that work in the house and like that help out. Fair enough, but to an extent, I can't speak for all of them in it, but some of them are calm in it. Yeah, so she could have a really good experience. You never know, but it's just one of those things where you just think, because of what you see so much on social media, and like you don't really know what her fate will be, and like the risk that she has to take just to provide for her family, like the desperation that you must have just to be able to provide for your family. I don't think any of us, alhamdulillah, and I hope we don't ever have to experience that ever, but I don't think we'll ever really truly understand. It's just sad, man.
Definitely. And I think that the scariest thing is that most of the cases that do happen on the ground, we don't hear about on social media. We only hear about, you know, the odd one or two, but the reality on the ground is a lot more like sinister.
It is, yeah, of course it is.
Sad.
I remember.
But you know what? I feel like. Go on.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I feel like it's I think the Gulf region is like known for that, but recently I've noticed that it's not just the GCC that basically abuses migrant workers. Like I remember, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, there was a protest in Lebanon. That was organized by migrant workers, African migrant workers, and they were basically saying the same things, that, you know, protesting against abuses that are happening against them in Lebanon, and, you know, calling for an end to the sponsorship system there. So I think the GCC gets the rap for it, but it's pretty much everywhere. And To be honest, I'm not even sure if it's in other non-Arab countries. Like, is it a norm for migrant workers or maid workers to be in other countries, or is it just an Arab thing? Like in Tanzania, do you get that as well?
Do you get what? Like house girls?
Maids? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
but people that come from like abroad to do just that job.
It's everyone. I think it's people that are sort of ethnically Tanzanian or Kenyan or whatever it is. Like, there would be someone in the house that's helping you out, because you just sometimes you just can't do it all yourself. So it's not like foreigners would have this, and or like, but you would never. I feel like you would never find. I don't think I've ever come across a Somali house girl.
I guess it's different when it's like when you're bringing someone from another culture to your own homeland to like basically serve you. I think there's a more like sinister tone to that. Yeah, because you're playing on the fact that they're desperate, innit? I feel like
it's sad.
I feel like to see wallah.
I feel like all of this comes from people, like, just historically, people have always viewed like the black race as being inferior, and but it's like, it's interesting that they do that, because just last week, like, we saw that there was a female athlete who was basically is being forced to take she's been forced to take drugs just to kind of bring down her testosterone, her natural testosterone levels. But and why? Because she's such a good athlete. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, that's all it is.
That was mad.
When it comes to things like that, like, that was okay. So for people that don't know, basically the athlete is what's her name? CASTER Semenya. I feel like she's South African, or is it from Zimbabwe?
She is she's South African.
South African. She has like an elevated level of she has more than normal for women, right? Of testosterone. Yeah. And so last week, the Court of Arbitration for Sports, they basically ruled that athletes could be banned unless they took medication to reduce their testosterone levels. So now she has to, because she naturally produces testosterone, she, like, more than what women normally would, she now has to take drugs just to be able to compete and to do her job, right? Which is completely unfair, so it's like, and just a couple years ago with who was that swimmer? Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, yeah. So he has something that's in his DNA as well, where he doesn't produce as much lactic acid as other swimmers do, right? And that's like a natural thing. They were praising his DNA, and they were praising. And what did they say? They said it's a lucky advantage for him to have had that. We're very lucky to have that advantage. Whereas now a black woman is being told she now has to take drugs to be able to reduce her level of testosterone because white women are crying. Essentially, that's what it is. And it's like, it's frustrating.
And the white woman that's crying as well, she's like in 7th place or something. It's not even she's in 2nd place where she's like threatened by her. She is in her dust. She's eating her dust. Yeah. And she's complaining.
It's just mad. And still we're being told the black race is inferior to everybody else these times. We are naturally, our DNA dictates how amazing we are, and it's like it's just jokes.
Well, that's why they try to put the black race down, is because it poses a threat to the white race. You know, otherwise there would be no need to. Also, I'm sorry to tell you, Shambak,
but I have a condition that makes me produce more testosterone than the average person. Sorry to say.
Does that mean you're already passed?
That means she's black.
Prick. It means I got polycystic ovary syndrome, stupid.
I've always said that Reem is black. Reem is blacker than me, to be honest.
No, it means I got polycystic ovary syndrome. Hold tight the girls with polycystic ovary syndrome, and also the girls with sweaty hands. I see you in the DMs.
Can you just explain what that is? Because I feel like it's such a common thing, but like no one actually knows what
it is. With I think 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women have it, or 1 in 5, something like very, very common, and it's a hormonal imbalance that causes very different things for each person. So for one person it might cause hair loss and weight gain, and for others it might cause more hair than usual and a deeper voice, hence my deep ass voice. And yeah, you produce
you don't have
yes,
a
I
deep
do. I'm
voice.
proper husky, like a dog. Anyway, yeah, and it means that your periods are really painful most often, like more often than not, very painful and very irregular, and a lot of like heavy and uncomfortable, and like you can faint and you could get sick, and it also can sometimes impact infertility. Not infertility, it can sometimes impact fertility and make you infertile. So yeah, it's one of those things that, but it can be managed with food, with diet, like everything. So eating well, like having a high, like a low carb diet. Losing weight is always good, but it does become hard for you to lose weight with polycystic ovary syndrome. So yeah, diet makes a huge deal.
What are the symptoms of it? Like how would you know that you have
irregular periods,
the condition,
heavy bleeding, what else? You might have like them stupid, actually it's very common for people just to have that one-off chin hair, but like a bit more face fuzz, I'd say. Yeah.
One-off chin hair.
Of course,
I feel like I have
does.
one, you know, just underneath my chin. Do you know what's the awkward thing is? I didn't even clock it. It was special that clocked it.
Where's Shambak? Why is she very quiet? This is the first time I've heard her so quiet.
I have no idea.
No, I'm just listening.
I bet
By the way, guys, I sent that video to the group chat.
Okay, cool. Wait, what video?
Oh, the video she was talking about.
The video of the Ethiopian woman fleeing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
cool.
So it's it's very. It's a uncomfortable thing to have, and it's really hard when you feel like, because what happened to me is I wasn't diagnosed for years until I went into emergency surgery. They kept sending me to different doctors. What they try and do is regulate your periods by using the contraceptive pill, because that just balances it all, but actually I wouldn't suggest it. Obviously if you take it because it feels too much, then cool, but the contraceptive pill actually increases your risk of cancer. So yeah, there's just a lot of things that come with it. Yeah. So girls, if you're feeling like you might have this and you feel like you might need to get a diagnosis, go check it out. Go speak to your doctor. If they don't do something about it, if they don't get, they can tell by blood tests, I believe, through the hormone tests. If they don't do something, keep badgering on about it, because it can be, if not sorted or if not regulated and dealt with, then it can be quite, not harmful, but yeah, it can be an inconvenience and also damage your fertility.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Reem.
I probably said loads of things wrong.
GP Reem, we should have that as a section on the podcast.
Bring your medical issues to Reem, the not doctor. But yeah, man, sorry, Shambak, I just completely took away the fact you were talking about that. I forgot her name.
No, that's done. I swear that's done now.
Shambak's all sad.
No. Well, it's fine. Do you know what? I just wanted to move on. Do you know? Speaking of Muslim women saying mad things, yeah, like Reem saying the maddest,
yes, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
So there was an article that was published on the Metro, and I sent it to you guys in the group chat. I hope you read it, Reem. That was your homework for this podcast.
But yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been busy. Sorry.
So there's a stand-up comedian. Her name is Sadia Asma, and I started listening to her podcast that she has on the BBC. It's something like
She's got a podcast on the BBC.
She's got a podcast on the BBC that she shares. You guys should listen to it. It's very mad. Yeah, I remember I listened to it because it's very mad, and like I wanted to understand where she was coming from, because I really do feel like so she talks very openly about sex, right? And I feel like for us as sort of like Muslim women, it's one of those things where we have to just sort of figure it out ourselves, because we don't have the luxury of being able to speak to family members about these things. But to be fair, like, and if you don't have to be Muslim to find that conversation to be awkward. It's very awkward in general, but it's just not very spoken about very openly, I guess, for us, and we sort of have to figure it out once we get married, whereas other people have that experience prior to marriage, right? Anyways, so she has very open and very honest conversations about her sexuality and her sexual desires, blah blah blah, which I find interesting, even though I think it's absolutely bonkers, because there's a level of like modesty that I feel like should always be observed, and that's not to say don't talk about sex openly. I just feel like there's a way that things should be spoken about in a way where it's not vulgar and it's like, if you can't say it in front of your parents, you shouldn't say it at all. Anyways, so she has written an article for the Metro, and it's called "Horny Muslim Women Like Me Aren't Supposed to Exist During Ramadan."
Say, there's a lot of things you wouldn't say in front of your parents, but we still say. Like any conversation
like
about
what?
sex, you wouldn't say in front of your parents. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how nicely you put it. Like you're still not gonna say it. Like let's be real. Sorry, I just.
No, like if you say you were to go to your, obviously you wouldn't go to your dad in it, but say you were to go to your mum and we were like, listen, mum, like I just want to ask about this, yeah, or like I feel like I can do that with my mum. I feel like I can go to her and ask her about, obviously after marriage and that, but if I was to go to her and be like, oh mum, like this is what or if I say to her like, mum, this is what I want to do, like in terms of like
contraception, but in terms of the nitty gritty,
I could easily.
You think?
Yeah, definitely not. Of course not.
The details, of course not.
The details, of course not. But I just mean like having like a general conversation about certain things. You of course you can, right? But but just in general, even when you're with your friends speaking publicly, whatever it is, when you're speaking very publicly about these things, there's a way of doing it. There's like sheikhs, like you always. There's plenty of sheikhs that have conversations about things that you can and cannot be done in the bedroom.
It's just I didn't agree with the parent comment because I think we break that every day.
Yeah. But you know what I mean in it though, yeah. Like there's just ways that things can be spoken about. So anyway, so she tried it, bruv. So anyway, so there's this article that she'd written on the Metro, and it's called "Horny Muslim Women Like Me Aren't Supposed to Exist During Ramadan." And
what does that even mean?
She basically speaks about. She was just basically speaking about. She was like how she believes in sex before marriage, and that's because she believes in sex, not necessarily about marriage, which is a direct quote from the actual article, which I thought was just so interesting. Like in this day and age, like the institution of marriage is sort of is breaking down, but it's so I don't know. It's like the conversation that we were having a couple of podcasts ago, where we were saying how sometimes when Muslim women, especially when they wear a hijab, when they say certain things, it just seems so much more outrageous than what it actually is. Like,
but I feel like if any Muslim woman said that with or without hijab, it seemed too vulgar for me. Or
it would. But
I think there is weight on the hijab because I think people there's an expectation. I think that women without hijab are not really practicing. So people are not shocked.
Like she was in the article. She was proper speaking about like her sexual encounters, and I don't know if she's talking about when she was married before or what. But she was like, "Oh, last time I had sex was 7 months ago," and I was like, "Oh, the months when you were just like." You just don't know. Like, it's one of those things where, okay, yes, be sexually liberated, talk about things, blah, 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 but don't reveal your own sins, B. Like, it makes no sense.
What does sexual liberation even mean? Because I feel like that term is being thrown around a lot these days.
I feel like being able to speak about certain things without being seen as like a slut. I feel like that's what I've always thought of it as. Or not? I don't know. I just feel like whenever women speak about sex and like how, and to say that they enjoy it, it's like, oh, you must be a hoe. That's just what I thought it was.
I think it's not just that. I think it's taken to different levels of like there are no the same the fact that I think it's like equal with men and in being that there are no boundaries, so that the people that you are intimate with and that what you're doing, etc., none of it is seen as an issue, is the idea, as opposed to just even talking about it. Talking about it is like stage one, which I think Muslim women are, well, yeah, definitely publicly is zero, because I think every Muslim woman has the same thing of like lots of Muslim women have the same thing that what you were saying, Shams, of like that you just keep these things to yourself, and if you don't, you're it's not that you're not sharing them with friends, it's just that in a public sphere you're not necessarily blurting it out there.
I don't know, man.
Read a bit of it, because I feel like people should know how vulgar it is, and I think you can tell from the title alone. But it's actually
quickly, what
quite
was
disgusting.
her point though? Sorry, like what does that mean? Did she ever get to that?
I think she was just basically saying that there's no shame in it. There's no shame in having sex before marriage, and it shouldn't be seen like that bad.
I just want to understand the link with Ramadan. Like, I feel like it was such a reach. Like, she just wanted to put that in the title.
Clout-chasing.
Okay, so let me read 100%. Let me read an excerpt. I think she was basically saying, because she said the link that she had made to Ramadan was that she was like, she has had sex during Ramadan before, obviously, and then she was like, obviously after I break my fast. Yeah. So
okay, why is that relevant?
Well, I guess she's kind of just, I think, so at the very end of the article, she was like, ladies, this Ramadan, instead of living for others or towards anyone else's expectations, just do you, the rest will follow. Which is weird, because in that sense, I completely agree with that, but with what she's talking about, no. Like, it's not about...
Yeah,
it's not about,
I remember reading the article, and I was just confused by the whole thing, and then when I got to the end, there was no, like...
Just
there
didn't
was
make
no
sense.
conclusion. It didn't make sense. Like, even that one line that you just said, it didn't fit in with the title or with the content at all.
Nice title.
Okay, so
did you get the same feeling?
Let me just read. Like, I think this is the bit that I think Sana was just like.
Yeah.
Okay, so the only guys left are the ones looking to save me from some imagery, oppressed plight. They seem to have Okay, wait. Let me start again, because I can't read. The only guys left are the ones looking to save me from some imaginary oppressed plight they seem to have conjured up of me suffering. Non-Muslim guys see dating me as a challenge, as though conquering me is akin to when the US invaded Iraq. I mean, I need some D, but I don't need you to be the one. And I was just like, And then she went on to say,
I don't get it.
Ramadan is a reminder to me that a lot of Muslims like to be seen as being Muslim and are concerned with keeping up appearances with other Muslims and non-Muslims alike. So then I think what she's trying to say is, if you were doing a madders before Ramadan, don't feel like you can't do a madders during Ramadan. I guess I don't know what she's trying to say. Wallah, like, to be honest, it's so confusing.
There's no sense in this article.
It's so. I think she's trying to say, do you, and like which it's so mad, because like every parts of what she's saying is exactly what we believe, yeah, which is faith is very subjective, and you go at your own pace, and you do what feels right for you, and if it doesn't feel right, don't force it, and you shouldn't be held to a specific expectations, and we have all those beliefs. But I think what she's saying is like, she's teetering between what is haram and what is halal, sort of thing, right? So it's like, even if you want to do something that is haram and you feel like it's right for you, then just do it. I think this is what she's saying. Whereas for us, it's kind of like, do your best not to do it. But if you do it, don't kill yourself in it. But she's saying, do it if you want to do it, and just do it, and who cares? And but I don't know how to I don't know how to take this. I have no clue how to
I just don't see the purpose
this.
in it. I feel like they just wanted to get the most controversial headline out in Ramadan, just for the hits. Like that's literally all I got from it. Like, there's nothing in there that's worthy of even reading. There's no opinion shared that I think is like worthy of listening to or even taking on board. Like, I just don't understand.
I don't know.
What's her whole podcast about? Like, generally, what does she talk? Just sex stuff?
They talk about lots of different things, but sex is like a reoccurring sort of theme, and like I think you should listen to it. If you find this to be quite shocking and jarring, I think you'd find the podcast like I genuinely am like gobsmacked with it, because it doesn't sound like it's a Muslim that's speaking. Like if you didn't know that she was Muslim, you wouldn't know. Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have guessed that what she's saying. It's just mad. It's just mad to me. I don't know.
This is really weird for me, because I'm usually so liberal, and I'm like, yeah, just do what you need to do, go with the flow.
I hate that word. Liberal Muslim. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I know you. I knew you'd say that, but I'm just saying that's how some people would describe me. I'm usually so like easy and go with the flow kind of person. But when it comes to sex, I feel like there's just a thing about it that just makes my skin crawl, because I feel like like you said, there's a way of talking about it without being vulgar. Like there needs to be discussion in the Muslim community, 100%, especially to women and like from women. There needs to be discussions about sex, and they needs to be transparent and open and like without any awkwardness. But to do it in a way where you're like vulgar and like you just need to hold on to the modesty a bit, like just have a bit of respect for the community that you're talking to, and I think she doesn't do that at all.
I was so excited initially when I'd come across her podcast just randomly. I think I was just looking for like, because I was kind of slipping back into listening to music, and I was like, let me look for like podcasts that I can listen to, and I just sort of searched for like Muslim podcasts or blah, and then I came across this, and I was like, oh my days, there's a Muslim girl that's on
what's it called?
BBC. It's called No Country for Young Women. So she does it with
No Country
for Young Women.
For young
and
women.
she does
okay.
She hosts this podcast with a Nigerian girl. Her name is Monty Onanuga, and they have and it's really interesting because it's like they're two women that are not white, and they're speaking about things that typically people from their country probably might be afraid to speak about, and like and that,
which is
and
great.
Think, pardon.
I'm saying that's a really good thing to do, and I think there should be more people doing it. It's just there's a way to do it.
There's a way to do it, yeah. Like they've had like Yasmin Abdul-Majid on like some of their episodes, and like I don't know, man. Like I got gassed. Like I was like, yeah, let me listen, and then I was just so disappointed. I just thought, like episode 3, porn, feminism, and Lina Bembe. It's just, do you know the ones where it's just like. Like you just don't even know.
Reem, I'm interested to know what you think about this.
I think I don't really understand her point, but I don't see. I think it's hard when you're trying to reach, if she's trying to reach an audience, and that's being Muslim women, she is gonna alienate a lot of us, because conversations that we have around this topic don't usually look like this, if there are any, and if they and if you want to start a conversation, it's kind of like Muslim women some people need baby steps, and going straight into the nitty-gritty like that and it is not what is comfortable for people, and actually there's so many boundaries and stuff that are being crossed for people that they're just not going to be listening, they're not going to be interested, and they're just going to sign out. And actually what ends up happening is you become this kind of icon for non-Muslim women and saying, oh, there's a Muslim woman who's so free in this, and then it's like that weird kind of, okay, we like her because she's so open about this thing, or because she's different to the others or whatever. That's kind of the thing that I think, because I believe in talking about things that are uncomfortable and things that are taboo.
100%.
I do just think that if you're trying to get people to, it depends on whether she's just trying to share it or trying to share it to really, I don't know, like have people, show people she's on side and that she feels the same as they do, if that makes sense. If it's just a matter of I'm treating this like my journal, then actually I don't think there's much we can say about that, because
I just don't think we're her audience. I don't think we're her target audience. I don't think we're the kind of people that she's trying to go for, to be honest. And that's probably why we just don't enjoy it. I feel like there are plenty of like young Muslim women who probably feel the same way that she does, and probably do think, sex before marriage is calm.
No, I agree. I think a lot of women do want to hear about the things that she's talking about, but like I said, there's just an etiquette to it. I'm not against her talking about sex or talking about like, you know, the details of her life or whatever. If she's willing to share that, then she's willing to share that, and that's no one's business. But it's just like the etiquette of doing it. Like I don't know, maybe it's just that headline that threw me off. Like obviously I haven't heard any of her other stuff. Like I haven't heard the podcast or even read any of her other work. But this one, just by the fact that she used horny Muslim and Ramadan in one sentence.
I agree. And that's the thing. People are not going to be...
It
just looks like a kind of attention-seeking caption. Not attention-seeking, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, as in,
definitely.
so instantly people's backs are up and we're like, okay, bye.
Yeah. And there's a picture as well that was just... With the article that it just looked wrong. I don't know, man. I feel like it was just all a bit of a hype attempt. But yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know, man. The borders. I don't know, man. It's just one of them situations, innit? You just got to take it on the chin and just accept that, you know, this is not for you, B.
The good
It's
the
just
good
like
thing
how
about this is that me and Shambaka found something that we agree on.
Oh, blood. I'm so shocked. I'm actually genuinely so shocked. Like,
I know,
we're not beefing
I'm
about
a bit
this.
confused as well. Not gonna lie, fam. I was expecting Sana to say something different.
We're growing up.
Actually,
I agree with
no,
everything
actually, I know that you have a way of, like, you don't want it to be completely too. I don't know. You're an ethics chick.
Yeah.
she loves to sit on the fence.
Safe.
She sits on the fence, Sana, a lot.
What?
Yeah, you heard
No,
me.
we didn't.
I literally didn't hear you.
I said, Sana, since I said, I feel like with both of you as well, yeah, like because you guys like to see the other perspective, or you like to take things into other people's experiences into consideration and not just your own, it might make it difficult for you guys to come to a specific conclusion about your opinions on certain things, which is absolutely fine, because that's fine.
Definitely.
But with me, I feel like I in some cases, there are like situations where they are grey areas, but for the most part, I'm very black and white. Which and I think that's probably why we clash quite a bit, because Sana's like, yeah, well, no, because and then Reem was like, yeah, but you got to consider this as well, because you never know, and maybe and I'm just like, but no, I think that's the situation, because you guys do like to look at the full picture, and I do too. Yeah. But I just feel like I see the full picture, and I say, okay, I'm either on this side or on that side. But you guys sort of like straddle the middle sometimes.
No, I think everything in life is a grey area, genuinely, because there's so many different perspectives, and there's so many different people, and it can't be black and white. There's too many different opinions for it to be black and white. And I think sometimes it's worth, exploring the grey area, even if it's out of your comfort zone.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm very black and white. I'm just a racist in it. Just hella black and white.
The way she makes herself laugh.
I'm glad she has entertainment.
Just big clicking and laughing, innit? Anyways, so a couple of days ago, last Friday, so the Instagram event happened. Alhamdulillah, I was so gassed. So thank you so much for everyone that came. We met a podcast listener, by the way, Sana.
We met two ladies.
Yeah, we met some lovely girls. So sweet, wallah.
Sweet.
Like, they came up to us and they were like, we love your channel, and we've been listening to both of you on the £3.30 podcast. And I was like, oh my God, where's Reem? And I called Reem over, and we were like, they were just so cute. And it was just so nice to see so many sort of Muslim women and men sort of coming together to listen to the conversation that we had, and it was really interesting. And I loved that Reem was there as well, because I feel like Reem was stepping on eggshells a little bit, but it was really nice to have Reem's perspective there as someone who doesn't use social media as a platform.
Though, quickly, I was treading on eggshells because everyone was there because they were interested in social media. And there I was, gunning it down. And then second of all,
but people in the audience,
I don't wear hijab.
People in the audience. So we open up the floor to questions. Yeah, and people were saying, what about if somebody doesn't want to pursue a career in sort of fashion or in beauty and they want to pursue other careers? And I was like, this is why Reem is on this panel, because I really want people to see, like, the average Muslim woman isn't a hijabi and she's not into fashion and she doesn't give a shit about, oh, I'm on Vogue and da-da-da-da. Like, not all of us think that way. Some people have different aspirations and that's fine. And we want to break our own boundaries, which I hate that term. But, like, Reem is a walking embodiment of that. Like, where people always say, oh, like, you know, Muslim women really do feel represented, and it's like that's not always the case, because you're completely erasing an entire demographic of Muslim women who don't identify as hijabis, when you look at the vast majority of hijabis that are in mainstream media, the vast majority of them are Somali. Let's just be honest. Like I want to talk about the ones that are in fashion and stuff like that. All of the models, like majority of models that are represented in fashion and stuff like that, are Somali. Iman, one of the first supermodels of our time, Somali. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, for someone like Reem, who was on that panel, and Amina that was on that panel as well, and people like Salwa who don't identify as Somali and who aren't black and who aren't and someone like Reem who isn't a hijabi, that imagery isn't going to do shit for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not, they haven't broken any boundary. And it was interesting because at one point in the discussion I was like, you know, when you see these headlines like Muslim women break boundaries and challenge stereotypes or blah, I asked them, I was like, do you genuinely feel like there's been any sort of difference or any sort of change? Like, what boundaries have they broken, and have you felt the ripples of that effect? And bruv, it was silence. No one had shit to say, because it's like, what are they actually doing?
Yeah, because that's all it is. It's all just headlines, breaking boundaries, and then what?
Exactly.
What's step 2?
So when Reem is sat there,
that's what
saying,
I was really happy to see Reem there, because she was, like you said, the only one that wasn't in that field. Otherwise, it would have just been dead, to be honest.
It would have. And it was just so interesting.
No, because Reem, like, there's more to life, and there's more to Muslim women than hijabi bloggers.
One woman came up to me after.
That's why it was important for you to be there.
And although that's important,
one
it's
woman
not
came
everything.
up to me after, and she doesn't wear hijab, and she said to me, I really wanted to ask a question, but I'm always sick of being the controversial one. And I said, okay, what did you want to ask? And she goes, I wanted to ask you, she goes, I wanted to ask you if you actually feel represented. Like, you don't wear hijab, we don't wear hijab, we're not seen as Muslim. Like, you can be a Muslim and not wear hijab. I'm sick of it. She goes, this is why I don't come to these kind of events, because it's like, it's run by this whole, like, Muslim women look this way.
Hijabis,
It's a bit cliquey, to be honest. It's very cliquey.
It is.
I feel like it's very cliquey, these events.
But she was then like, how she was so grateful she ended up coming. And it was like, for her, it was something refreshing. She felt like it wasn't like other events. Like she said, she thought, let me try, come to this one. Like, she used to,
exactly.
You know, she used to avoid going to these events because she was always scared. But this one, she goes, I felt like, hold on, there's something that's going to come out of this. And it's, you know, and I thought, that's my girl, Asha.
So what was the answer to her question? Do you really feel
I also
represented?
I don't really care. Like, I don't know, man. For me, it's interesting because, like I said, the Iraqi stuff for me overwhelms everything. It's not the Muslim stuff. Obviously, being Muslim comes with it, but like, people's responses and idea of Iraqis overshadows other things. Like, that's what I was faced with from day dot and hard. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, Muslim, like I said on the panel, I'm not like an easy target for Islamophobia. Like, I don't wear the hijab. Like, I'm not, I don't know, like, I'm not a visible Muslim, if that makes sense. So I don't face it in many ways, but like the Iraqi stuff I face because I look Arab. Like, people always are interested in where I'm from, always, and then as soon as I find out, I get the shit. So I think that's what it is for me. I'm not more interested, but I care more about representation for Iraqis. I don't know. Yeah, because of what I've had to face.
I hear that.
when people find out I'm Iraqi, it's like tiring to have to justify or respond appropriately or be calm or whatever it is because I'm getting called a terrorist. Like, leave me alone. Do you know what I mean? And that wasn't because of the Muslim part. It was because they find out I'm Iraqi in the war. If that makes sense. Like after 9/11, like. So I don't care. Like, I don't really care about representation. I just don't want us to always look like that dusty country that doesn't have anything and that we need Western intervention for liberation. Like, that's kind of, you know.
I hear that, B.
Definitely.
And I was so proud of you, wallah, because I know how you feel about public speaking. I know you feel like you don't really want to, like, you get scared to maybe fumble up your words or not say the right thing, but you absolutely smashed it. And I feel like you really represented yourself in a very, like, respectable way, and that showed because everyone came up to you after and was like, I love the fact that you were on that panel. Not only did you represent something that was different, but your job, the things that you do, like, it's just so, you just don't expect it. So long story short, Reem, you're a sick one for
you're
that, B.
For organising the thing.
You're both sick. I'm so proud of both of you.
No.
Definitely, 100%.
Alhamdulillah. Next
So
time,
is there another event, Reem? Shambak?
So I want to organise another one. Even Instagram were like gas, and they were like we should definitely do more events like this, and like we're so happy with how it went, and like they learnt so much because there was a segment where we spoke about you want to represent Muslim women and you want to invite them and book them for these jobs and these campaigns and to work with you guys, but you haven't really sort of considered or done the proper research. So even small things like, you know, you want to invite you want to say, for example, like I've been invited to events before in the past where they're like, you know, we'd love for you to come to this event where we're launching this and we're launching that, blah blah blah, and I get there and everyone's drinking alcohol and you're just there like, oh, can I get a Coke? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you just haven't really considered the fact that there are people that are gonna come. If you're gonna invite me to come to your event, consider the fact that I'm a Muslim and I don't drink. Do you know what I mean? So like when everyone's getting all these nice beautiful cocktails and that, and I'm just there with my standard Coke that I can get for 50p around the corner, like it's annoying, isn't it? It's like you just feel like more isolated and not as included as what they probably said that they wanted to do. So it's just even small things like that where it's like do some of your research, blah blah blah. And like Instagram, like we definitely learned, like
it was nice chatting to you guys again.
Sunshine.
Reem in
Thank you,
Iraq,
guys.
Shambak in Heathrow,
and Sana in Doha. So thanks guys for listening. If you guys want to keep up with us, you know our social media, £3.30 on Instagram. You can find us on all podcast platforms, wherever it is that you listen to it, whether it's Spotify or iTunes or YouTube. You can find us all on there. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment. And obviously Reem is on the Instagram stories. That's where you can find her if you want to contact her. So usually she manages that, and like just there's lots of engagement. We love our Instagram fam. You can find Sana at
Sanasina with 2 eyes.
And you can obviously find me, the host of this entire podcast, at Asha every day. Anyways, guys, it was nice chatting to you all. Ramadan Kareem, and may Allah accept all of your fasts.